So we're talking about the journey of conversion. Yesterday we talked about the importance of honesty as a step in that journey. Today I want to talk about the next step, which I believe is hunger, or developing a hunger. Jesus says, "Blessed are those who hunger and thirst for holiness, for righteousness, for they will have their fill." That's a pretty awesome promise that God is saying, look, if you're hungry for me, if you thirst for me, if you thirst to be close, to be holy, uh, you'll have your fill. I'll provide for you. I think a way to kind of put that in normal terms, I think back to junior high and I think of relationships back then. I always remember, as a group of us guys being together, then all of a sudden one of those guys falls in love with some girl. Then all you hear for the next, couple days, couple weeks, couple months, whatever is Jenny. Oh, I'm going to Jenny's house. Oh, I can't hang out with you guys. I'm meeting up with Jenny, or me and Jenny are baking cookies, or look what Jenny wrote me, or this song reminds me of Jenny, and you're just like, shut up about Jenny, like, but there's something about that stage in a romance. Um, it's kind of necessary, like you're falling in love. You can call it the honeymoon phase or whatever. And I think sometimes, like when it comes to our faith, we can we can say, well, oh, that step is childish, or real faith is real love is just the decision. It's the decision, and it is true. Real love, real faith. It comes to a point where I'm going to make this decision to be faithful, and we'll get to that. But just like if you looked at a marriage and there was no romance, there was no emotion, there was no part where the heart was engaged, and there was a hunger and a thirst for each other, if that was the case, I would say, look, that's an unhealthy marriage. That's why people go on these marriage encounters, is to rediscover that hunger, that thirst for each other. Um, in the same way with Christ, we can't sidestep our heart. It is important that we develop a hunger and a thirst for Him. Maybe not as obsessive as we were when we were a seventh grader, falling in love with a girl, but still in a way that our heart is very much engaged. Um, if you feel like that's you, or maybe even that hasn't been you in a while, it is okay to ask God, give me that hunger, give me that thirst again. Let me long for you. Help me yearn and strive for you, in the same way that you yearn and long for me, Lord. What a gift that we have a God who longs for us, who hungers and thirsts for our relationship and our love. We need to ask God that we can have that same kind of hunger.